Hey, you're tuned in to The Hustle Report by Profit Duel. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're unpacking a topic that quite a few of you have asked about, app testing as a side hustle. It's a really intriguing opportunity,
Yeah,
getting hands-on with new tech and maybe earning some extra cash just by sharing your insights.
it really is. And what's fascinating here, I think, is just how accessible some of these modern side hustles have become.
Yeah.
App testing is, well, a prime example of that, a pretty low barrier to entry.
Right.
So we'll explore not just what app testing is all about, but maybe more importantly, why it matters. For the developers, sure, but also for potential earners like you. The aim here is to give you the insights, help you decide if this path actually lines up with what you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, our mission for this deep dive is simple. Give you a clear, kind of balanced understanding of app testing. We'll look at the real advantages, sure, but also the drawbacks you need to know about. And crucially, those practical steps to actually get started. And this is all coming straight from our own research and the articles we've put together on this. Solid advice, basically. Okay, so let's kick things off. What exactly is app testing when we talk about it as a side hustle?
Well, essentially, it's a way for people, for you, to earn some extra income.
Yeah.
How? By testing mobile apps pretty rigorously and then giving detailed, useful feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Think about getting early access to brand new apps, hunting down those annoying bugs,
Mm-hmm.
and actually playing a part in making the product better before it hits the App Store.
And it's more involved than just, clicking around randomly.
Oh, definitely.
Testers are often looking for specific things. Functional testing is a big one. Does this button actually do what it's supposed to do? Does the checkout process work?
But just as important is usability testing. How does it feel to use the app? Is the design clear? Is it easy to navigate? Finding those kinds of user experience, or UX, sticking points. That's often where human testers add huge value. Things that, like automated tests, just can't catch.
That's a really great point. It's not just, is it broken, but could this be easier or clearer? You're kind of the app's first real user advocate in a way.
Precisely.
So what makes this appealing then? Why would someone use their spare time for this? What are the big draws that, we keep seeing pop up in our research?
Well, I think for someone looking for that low barrier entry point, like we said, it's a mix of accessibility and impact.
Okay.
The fact that you don't need to be a coder,
Yeah.
right? You just need a smartphone and, well, to pay attention. That opens it up to so many people. And yet what you do actually makes a difference. It shapes the tech we all end up using.
Yeah.
It's a pretty practical way to start earning, especially if, let's be honest, you're already spending time on your phone anyway.
That makes perfect sense. And probably the biggest advantage we've found is just the sheer flexibility. Our articles really hammer this out. Home app testing lets you work on your own terms.
Mhm.
You to choose when you work, how much you work. That's ideal if you're juggling a job or studies or family.
That flexibility really is a game changer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It lets you use those little pockets of free time.
Yeah, turn downtime into earning time.
Exactly. Time that might otherwise just, disappear. So if you want to supplement your income without a rigid part-time job schedule, this flexibility is often right at the top of the list.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's the straightforward benefit. Extra income, you put in some spare time, you earn some extra cash.
Yeah.
Simple as that, without that 9 to 5 commitment.
Sure.
Plus, for anyone who's kind of a tech geek,
Yeah.
there's the chance to try new apps before anyone else gets them. You get that early access, explore features. That's a pretty cool perk in itself, right?
Definitely. It scratches that itch if you're curious about new tech. It's not just about the money. And beyond that, something our research often highlights is this real sense of satisfaction people get from improving apps.
Yeah.
Knowing your feedback, your bug reports, actually help developers polish their product. That directly makes the experience better for potentially millions of users down the line. That feeling of contribution can be, well, a pretty strong motivator.
I can see that. And maybe one of the most important points, especially for newcomers to side hustles, is that generally no technical expertise is required. You don't need to know coding. It's accessible if you've got a smartphone and, like we always say, a good eye for detail. Your ability to observe is way more important than technical skills.
That's a great way to put it. Your everyday observations actually have real value.
It's empowering, right? But okay, let's get real. Like any side hustle, it's not perfect.
Mm.
Our findings definitely detail some significant drawbacks, too. What's maybe the biggest reality check for new testers, the thing that might undercut that initial excitement?
I'd say the biggest one, based on what experienced testers tell us, is often the effective hourly rate.
Okay. Explain that.
Well, you might see advertised rates maybe $10 to $20 per hour while you're actively testing. That sounds okay.
Right.
But what our deep dives show is that you really need to look at the effective rate. That means factoring in all the unpaid time spent searching for tests, maybe doing unpaid screening quizzes, waiting for approvals.
Gotcha. All the admin around it.
Exactly. When you account for all that, many testers find their actual earnings per hour worked can be, well, quite a bit lower, maybe closer to $8 to $1 sometimes. So being efficient and choosing the right tasks becomes really important.
That's a critical point many beginners might overlook. The advertised rate isn't always the full picture. Okay, what else should people be prepared for?
Another dose of reality is the limited availability of tests sometimes.
Right, it's not like a constant tap you can turn on.
Not always, no. It depends on developer demand.
Hmm.
Projects can be inconsistent. You might have busy periods, then quiet spells where you're actively searching for work.
Yep. So the workload fluctuates.
It can, significantly, which makes it pretty hard to rely on app testing as, like, your main source of income. And this really raises a key question for you, the listener. How does that potential extra cash weigh against the time you need to commit and the fact that the work might not always be there?
That unpredictability is definitely a big factor. And be ready for repetitive tasks, potentially.
Oh, for sure.
Some testing involves doing the same action over and over, or following very specific, maybe slightly tedious instructions. Let's be honest, that can get monotonous after a while.
Absolutely. Think about testing, say, a login process on 5 different devices.
Mhm.
It's necessary, but yeah, it can be a bit of a grind.
Tests your patience sometimes.
It can, and it can also be quite time-consuming. Properly testing an app, especially a complex one, isn't a quick 5-minute job if you're doing it right.
You need to be thorough.
You do. Digging into features, trying different scenarios, writing up clear feedback, it all takes time.
Okay, so that precision in observing and communicating, that's really the key skill here.
That's it, exactly.
Right. So if you've heard all that, the good and the bad, and you're still thinking, okay, I want to give this a shot, what are the actual steps? How do you start? The good news is getting started isn't too complicated, but doing it well takes a bit of diligence.
Indeed. The first practical step, as our guides usually suggest, is signing up on the popular platforms. These are the sites that connect testers with the companies needing testing. Places like User Testing, TestBirds, UTest, Trima UI. Those are common starting points.
Okay, so find a few platforms, then what? Next, you'll need to create a detailed profile. This isn't just filling boxes, it's important. You give info about your devices, what phone you have, tablet, operating systems, and basic demographics.
Right. And don't skip this part. It helps the platforms match you with tests that actually fit your tech setup and the kind of user they're looking for.
Makes sense.
And something our research really points to. Pay close attention to any initial qualification tests these platforms give you.
Ah, like screener tests.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they're unpaid practice tests. Don't just rush through them. These are basically your audition. Your performance here often decides how many and what kind of paid tests you get offered later.
Okay, so treat those serially. Good tip.
A common mistake is not giving them your full attention. Think of it as your first real testing task.
Right. Profiles done, qualification tests ist. Now you can start looking for actual paid work.
Yep.
Now you start browsing and applying for testing opportunities. Look for projects that match your devices, your interests, your demographics. And here's probably the most critical piece of advice, something we always stress. Carefully read the instructions for every single test.
Every time.
And then provide detailed, high-quality feedback. It's not just finding bugs. It's explaining them clearly.
That's absolutely key. What's fascinating here is, even without being technical, your ability to observe closely and communicate clearly, those become your superpowers. High-quality feedback is what makes good testers stand out. It's not just the app crashed. It's giving that qualitative insight. What were you doing when it crashed? What did you expect to happen? Why was it confusing or frustrating? Our findings consistently show developers value that detailed human perspective way more than just a basic bug list.
Yeah.
And it makes them want to hire you again.
That's a perfect summary of what success looks like here. Clear, thoughtful feedback is gold. Now, app testing, as we said, it's just one piece of the side hustle puzzle, right? It can be a really great entry point, especially because it's so accessible. But it's good to remember there's a whole world of ways to earn extra income out there. Looking through our resources, we've covered tons of different options.
We have, and it's good to see app testing in that context. Think of it as one tool in your toolkit. But there are others. We've looked into things like matched betting, which is quite structured.
Yeah.
Affiliate marketing, if you've got a knack for online promotion.
Right. Or for people with strong organizational skills, maybe social media management or becoming a virtual assistant. Those are really popular.
They are. And then for the more creative types, or maybe more entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
we've explored things like building websites, starting a YouTube channel, even creating and selling your own digital products.
Oh, yeah. Lots of potential there. And even things like being a brand ambassador.
Exactly. The landscape is huge.
Hmm.
And understanding the pros and cons of each option, just like we're doing for app testing, is really the key.
Finding the right fit.
Precisely.
Uh,
From that wider view, evaluating any side hustle, whether it's app testing or something else, it requires some critical thinking about you. It's definitely not one size fits all.
sure.
It's about finding something that genuinely aligns with the time you actually have, what you're interested in, and of course, your financial goals.
Hmm.
What's perfect for your neighbor might be totally wrong for you, and that's absolutely okay. It's about making informed choices for your own situation.
That's really well put. So, wrapping up on app testing specifically, ultimately it offers this appealing mix, doesn't it? Flexibility, a chance to influence tech that makes it attractive for many people wanting extra cash. But you have to go in aware of the limits, the pay variability, the potentially inconsistent work.
Right.
If you approach it strategically, though, it can be about maximizing those earnings while actually maybe enjoying discovering new apps.
And that brings up maybe one last thought to leave people with.
Okay.
Given how fast technology changes, how might app testing itself evolve, in the next few years?
Interesting question.
Will AI take over more of the basic bug hunting, maybe, pushing human testers towards more complex things like judging the user experience nuances or even ethical considerations, things only a human can really assess?
It's definitely something to think about if you're considering getting into the space. What skills might be most valuable down the road?
That's a great question to ponder. Food for thought. All right, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.